Hi. I've not got my phone ready. My sister was killing herself laughing. If she's watching this, she'll be doing another laugh. Because I need to sort my phone out to do live on Instagram as well. How the devil are you all? I just want to... Before, it's very rude of me. But I'll only be 2 seconds and then I can put it up. What am I doing? I'm doing a plus and I'm doing a live. And I'm just going to push the button and it's checking for a connection. So, hello. The sun's really shining on me. I don't know whether I need to go and shut a window. I look like I've got a halo on. What am I talking... I need to say, I don't know why, but I've been seeing an awful lot of couples lately. Couples seem to be coming out of the woodwork. If you could see what I look like on Instagram, I'm like all white all over because of this sun, that golden globe thing that's in the sky that we've not seen for ages. And I must admit, I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's amazing, the sun. It's quite hot in this room. I might have to, in fact I will, I think I'm going to take my jacket off as well. It could be a tropical moment that I'm having, or it could be just the sun shining through all afternoon in this room. So anyway, as I was saying, I've been seeing a lot of couples lately. So I've been doing some posts about couples. I'm not sure whether you've seen them on my Facebook. I asked some questions and then I've been doing some posts around a relationship wheel. Hi Tam, how are you? Let me move it over so that people can see. Hi. Yeah, so a relationship wheel. And what's on this relationship wheel that I've been talking about all week? I think there's probably another post tomorrow and one on Saturday that's going to go out on Facebook. So if you've not seen it, then check them out, because even if I say so myself, I think it's got some little nuggets of information in there that might be useful. It's about relationships, but it's communication. And to be fair, as human beings, it's one of the things that we've got over every other animal, is that we've got the ability to speak to each other. But you could probably argue that animals talk in their own language anyway, but the way that we speak, we're the only ones that do it. And having said that, a lot of us struggle with communication. How do we communicate what we want with each other, with our kids, with our parents, with our partners, with our work colleagues, whatever it is? There's so many times where we miss each other, or we miscommunicate, or we make assumptions, and all this sort of stuff that goes on. You know, that's the juicy stuff. That's what I love about transactional analysis of psychotherapy that I'm trained in, because it's analysing transactions, and transactions between human to human is a way of communicating, even if we're not using our voice. I read somewhere, and these figures might be wrong, but I think it's something like 7% of the way we communicate is through what we're actually saying. The rest of it is our body language, the tone of our voice, you know, all these sort of stuff. So we're communicating all the time, even if we're not speaking. Holding off on a conversation and not speaking is actually communicating in its own right, because ignoring somebody is a form of communication. You're telling them that you're a bit pissed off with them, whatever they've done. So it's still a form of communication, believe it or not. Anyway, I digress. The relationship wheel has got 6 sections to it. So there's love in action, the impact of family. And when I'm talking about the impact of family, I mean the impact that our upbringing and being in the family that we were born in has on us. Because it does have a massive impact on us. Our life script and all that sort of stuff. You know, we're playing that out every day. That's how it works. The art of communication, building strong, you know, how we resolve conflicts also depends on our upbringing and our family. You know, did we see conflicts being resolved? I can honestly say, and if my mum's watching, I'll apologise for this, and I would imagine most kids in families, I saw the arguments. I saw, you know, my mum and dad not speaking to each other and all that sort of stuff, but I never saw how they resolved it. They just wouldn't be speaking one day, and then the next day everything would be back to normal and they'd be speaking again. So as a kid, I never learnt how to resolve conflicts. It's one of those things, I think, that you just kind of make up as you're going along, which in a relationship doesn't necessarily serve you very well. So, you know, this relationship wheel covers all these. The other big one is the power of forgiveness, which I think, you know, I do struggle with. I will hold my hand up to that. I'm not always very good at forgiving people. Depends what they've done. But if they've hurt me, then I'm not really very good at forgiving them. So having said that, that's what I've been working on this week with a lot of the couples that I've been working on. And one of the things that, you know, comes up time and time again is you can see things from somebody else's point of view. It's really helpful when we're trying to resolve conflicts, and it's really helpful when we're communicating with each other. But what is empathy? You know, it's some people mix it up with sympathy. You know, what is empathy? Empathy is putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. That's basically it. It's trying to see through their eyes, and it's an impossible. You know, it's really impossible to do, really, because we can't fully 100% look at things through somebody else's eyes. But it's trying to understand the situation from the other person's perspective. You know, imagine how they're feeling and how they're experiencing whatever it is that you're going through. And if you have the ability to do that, if you can do that, then it's kind of going to allow you time to process whatever's going on, but it's also going to give you a different way of looking at things. Often for me, and I can only talk about me, I used to say things like, they've done this to me, they've made me feel this way, they did this and that made me feel this way. The reality is, nobody has that power over me. You know, it's my choice. It's my thoughts about what they've done that creates my feelings 100% of the time. Sorry, I'm just checking that I'm still going live. So the other thing, you know, steps with empathy, and what empathy is listening actively, which is something I know I can struggle with outside of the therapy room. You know, my clients are my sole focus in the therapy room, but outside of the therapy room, I don't really practice active listening at all. Because that's, you know, showing that I'm fully engaged and interested in what the other person is saying. And I know for a fact that when I'm talking to somebody, say I'm having a conversation with my mum and my sister, they say something and straight away I'm already thinking about what answer I'm going to give them. I'm thinking about a situation where that happened to me, or I'm thinking about, you know, I don't agree with that, I've got a different opinion to it, and this is what I think. So I've got all these random thoughts going on in my head, and I'm not always listening actively. Well, yeah, I'd say I never listen actively to my mum and my sister. So, you know, in a communication situation or in a relationship, it's really important that we do, you know, actively listen to what the other person is saying, and, you know, just put everything that we've got on hold until they've finished what they're saying. Validating the other person's feeling, again, is another important thing. You know, we might not agree with what they're feeling, but that doesn't mean that their feelings aren't, you know, they're not relevant to them and they're not true to them just because they've got a different, you know, opinion to what we have. So it's about understanding that, acknowledging that the other person's feelings, and let them know that you understand, you know, why they might be feeling that way. That's a form of empathy. We don't have to fully get it, but we can just allow them to express the feelings that they're feeling for them is relevant in that moment, if that makes sense. Because we're all looking at things through our own eyes. You know, two people can go through exactly the same experience and come away with completely different views of what was actually happening. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that we're right and they're wrong. It just means that we're looking at things completely differently. You know, respond to them with compassion. Compassion is something I think that not a lot of us show a lot of the time. You know, it takes a bit of effort and a bit of time. You know, respond in a way that shows that you care about the other person and their feelings, and that you want to support them. It's not that we necessarily have to fix it. It's not about fixing it. It's not about finding solutions. It's not about finding answers. It's just about, you know, being compassionate to what they're going through in that moment and just being alongside them. Sometimes people just want to talk about what's going on, and that's okay. They don't necessarily want you to fix it or anything. So just bear that in mind. The other thing is avoid judgment. Again, this is something that I have, you know, I'll hold my hand up, I have struggled with this at times. You know, and assumptions, assuming I know what the other person is going to say, or assuming that I know what they mean. One of the things that I learnt, you know, from a very wise lady who was actually watching this on Instagram, was, to think Martian is one of the things that we were taught when I was doing my psychotherapy training, to just literally, I've gotten all the knowledge and everything I think I know about stuff, and to just think Martian, and that way I can avoid judgments and assumptions, and it's just about lots of inquiring, just to make sure that I've got the right end of the stick, because we can all get hold of the wrong end of the stick and come up with a completely different story. So avoid making judgments or assumptions about the other person's feelings or experiences. Instead, focus on understanding, validating their perspective, because it is their perspective. Perspective, is that the right word? Yeah, it is. And the last one, be authentic, be genuine in your response, and avoid giving insincere platitudes and responses, because people can see straight through them. I was talking with my sister and my mum. We often put the world to rights when I go down there, and we were talking this week about one of the things that really does push my buttons and wind me up, and it's I suppose I see it as being quite insincere, is when in a therapy situation, or any situation really, when people kind of drop the head to the side and drop the voice and just go, oh, that must have been awful for you. It just, I don't like that. I don't know what it is, but it just comes across as really fake to me and inauthentic. That dropping the voice, which is it's a thing that's used in a lot of therapy, where they drop the voice and they slow things down and they tip the head to one side, and it's meant to be a nurturing, caring, transaction. But to me, I find it, I want to actually say I find it offensive, but I know that's a bit of a harsh thing to say, so I'm not going to say I find it offensive. It just doesn't fit right with me. So again, it's about trusting your gut, using your intuition. If you're saying and doing one thing and you're getting the feeling from the other person that this isn't going down very well, and I'm not sure that they're believing what I'm saying, then, change tactic. But being empathic to people, actively listening to them, not giving them your opinions and what they should do and what you think they should do and all that sort of stuff. Validate what's going on for them. Don't judge them or make assumptions. That's all showing signs of empathy, which is absolutely brilliant for, resolving conflicts and improving your communication. So if you want to know much more about this, and it's not just about, I am seeing an awful lot of couples at the moment, but this is not about couples. This is about, parents with the children. This is about, work colleagues. This is, relationships with anybody. This sort of stuff is going to help you. So just next time you're having a conversation with somebody, just pay attention to how actively are you listening, and are you hearing what they're actually saying, or are you kind of making assumptions as soon as they start talking? Do you kind of know where the conversation's going? And just be a little bit more mindful about how we communicate. So you're going to see a lot more of this stuff from me about couples and relationships, because I think it is quite relevant. I'm not sure whether the reason why I'm seeing more couples is because of COVID and we've all been locked up for a long time. I don't know whether that's what it is. But whatever it is, I'm going to listen to what the university's sending me, and I'm going to do some more work around this. The other thing that I thought, it's 7 days now until our new podcast, mine and my best mate Julie's therapy, goes live. This time next week at 7 o'clock, it's going live. Having said that, I won't be on at 7 o'clock this time next week, because I'm going to be in that there London in the big smoke. I'll actually probably be just about getting on a train and coming home, so I won't be able to go live. I suppose I could do it on the train on my phone. That might be novel. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. I could do it on my Instagram. I could just go live on Instagram while I'm on a train, or running to catch a train. We'll see. But anyway, if I'm not here next Thursday at 7 o'clock, I will be on the Thursday after at 7 o'clock. If you've got any topics that you want me to cover, then let me know. But please do check in and listen to on iTunes, Spotify, all those places where you listen to podcasts. Please tune in and listen to our first 3 episodes of Healing with Horses. It's all about equine guided therapy with me and my bestie, Julie Lewis. We have a laugh. We don't take things too seriously, but there's lots of useful information in there. Other than that, I shall see you in a week or 2, dependent on where I am and what I'm doing. Okie doke, take care.